Today, we'll dive into Young Cannibals, a 2019 horror film that pushes boundaries with its dark, terrifying concept. Directed by Chris Carr and Sam Fowler, this indie horror piece brings together elements of psychological and survival horror in a way that is sure to captivate fans of the genre. While it may not have received the same level of mainstream attention as some bigger budget horror films, Young Cannibals delivers a fresh and deeply disturbing storyline that lingers with you long after the film is over. The premise of the movie centers around a group of 7 friends who head out on what is supposed to be a fun and relaxing camping trip. As with many horror films, the journey begins with a sense of innocence. As the group of friends enjoys their time in the wilderness, laughing, sharing stories, and basking in the serene, remote environment. However, their idyllic getaway takes a dark turn when they are tricked into eating burgers made from human flesh. What they don't realize is that this act of unwitting cannibalism has deadly consequences. Consuming the flesh summons a supernatural creature, one that hunts anyone guilty of cannibalism. The idea of unknowingly consuming human flesh is enough to unsettle any viewer. Cannibalism is a taboo that strikes at the core of our deepest fears, and this film wastes no time in exploring the horror that comes with it. The introduction of the creature, a supernatural force that begins hunting the group, takes the fear factor up a notch. Not only must the friends grapple with the horrifying realization of what they have done, but they also face a relentless, terrifying entity that is bent on punishing them for their actions. One of the film's key strengths is its ability to blend familiar horror tropes with fresh and innovative storytelling. While the concept of being hunted by a creature in the woods might seem familiar, the added element of cannibalism and the moral ramifications that come with it set Young Cannibals apart from other survival horror films. The creature itself is symbolic of more than just a physical threat. It represents the guilt, shame, and moral decay that the characters now have to face. They are not just fighting for their physical survival, but also for their sanity and redemption. The characters are, for the most part, well-rounded, which adds depth to the story. Each member of the group reacts to their predicament in different ways, which makes their struggle to survive all the more compelling. Some of them try to maintain their sense of morality, refusing to believe what they've done could doom them, while others succumb to panic and despair. These dynamics give the film an added layer of psychological tension. As the creature begins picking them off one by one, the group's unity breaks down, and they are forced to confront the fact that they might not all make it out alive. The setting plays a crucial role in enhancing the film's tension. The remote forest where the story takes place creates an isolated and claustrophobic atmosphere. The idea of being far from help, cut off from civilization, with no way to escape the horrors that are closing in, is a staple in horror, and Young Cannibals uses it effectively. The dark, looming trees, the rustling sounds of unseen creatures, and the vast, empty wilderness all contribute to a sense of impending doom. What makes the creature in Young Cannibals so terrifying is not just its physical appearance, but also the way it is revealed throughout the film. The filmmakers wisely avoid showing too much of the creature too soon. Instead, they rely on shadowy glimpses, eerie sound effects, and the terror in the characters' eyes to build suspense. This approach plays on the audience's imagination, making the creature feel all the more terrifying. When it does appear in full view, The impact is intense, thanks to the slow build-up and the sense of dread that has been carefully cultivated. One of the film's standout features is its pacing. The story takes its time to unfold, allowing viewers to become invested in the characters and their relationships before the horror truly begins. This deliberate pacing makes the ensuing terror all the more effective, because we care about the characters' fates. The film doesn't rush from one scare to the next. Instead, it builds a sustained sense of tension, allowing moments of fear to land with greater impact. The use of practical effects for the creature is impressive, especially considering the film's indie budget. There's something particularly unsettling about practical creature effects. They feel more tangible and real compared to CGI, and this decision adds to the authenticity of the horror. The filmmakers also use lighting and camera angles to keep the creature shrouded in mystery for much of the film, which keeps the audience guessing and heightens the overall tension. Sound design is another area where Young Cannibals excels. The film's minimalist score, combined with eerie sound effects, creates a deeply unsettling atmosphere. Every snap of a twig, every rustle in the underbrush, and every distant growl or screech serves as a reminder that the creature is never far away. The soundscape is instrumental in building the movie's suspense, and it complements the visual storytelling to create a fully immersive experience. Young Cannibals also delves into the psychological horror that comes with the act of cannibalism. The film doesn't just rely on external threats. It forces the characters to wrestle with their own morality. The idea of having unknowingly consumed human flesh is enough to break down even the strongest of wills. As the group grapples with the horror of what they've done, they must also face the consequences that come with it, both physically and emotionally. This moral struggle adds a layer of complexity to the film, elevating it beyond a simple survival horror. As the film progresses, the tension only intensifies. The creature's attacks become more frequent and brutal, and the group is forced to make increasingly desperate decisions. The forest, once a place of beauty and tranquility, becomes a nightmarish labyrinth from which there is no escape. The filmmakers expertly play with the characters' growing paranoia, making it unclear whether they can trust one another or if the creature has already begun to influence their minds. In conclusion, Young Cannibals is a must-watch for horror fans who enjoy films that push boundaries and challenge the conventions of the genre. It's a film that isn't afraid to tackle taboo subjects and explore the dark side of human nature. With its compelling characters, chilling atmosphere, and relentless sense of dread, Young Cannibals offers a fresh and terrifying experience that lingers in the mind long after the credits roll. The movie not only delivers on the scares, but also offers food for thought, pun intended, about the nature of survival, guilt, and what it truly means to cross the line of morality.